total
drama.
Pahkitew
Island. Okay, so after the train wreck that was All Stars, which did that season even happen, Tyler? Because I don't remember it. I really, really don't remember it. And also, Ann Arbor is just commenting like, says 2 minutes, go live in 4 hours. We can go live whenever we want. Yeah, but yeah, do you remember that season? Because I certainly don't remember it.
I remember it in excruciating detail.
Yeah, well, it's like with a certain anime that I honestly stand by. I stand by what I said, that this is worse than that anime and Megaforce. I will stand by that 100%.
I've only watched.
When I'm talking about it, I'm talking about All Stars, not Pahkitew Island. I have different thoughts on Pahkitew Island.
Yeah, I could say definitely like if I had to pick between like this and All Stars, I'd probably take Pahkitew, but like it's not better by much. It's like
yeah, it really isn't. Like the main problem with it is that it's just so underwhelming as a season. It's like it, at least with All Stars, I was like getting angry with it, like really frustrated with it. With this, aside from a few little elements, it's like I'm just like it really seems like the black sheep of the family, if that makes any sense.
yeah. But getting into Pahkitew proper, so one big like thing that like a lot of people bring up with Pahkitew is that it arguably has the worst cast. And
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to disagree with that, because at this point they are really, really running out of eye. They pretty much exhausted every possible characterization that they could do. You remember how unique Owen and Heather and Alejandro and Gwen and B and Scott and characters like and Cameron, characters like them. Do you remember how unique of characters they were as contestants? Here we have Dr. Evil, a LARPer, a Disney princess, Chris 2.0, and Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah, like honestly, Pahkitew kind of makes me appreciate the reboot more, because like with Pahkitew, they were running out of like stereotypes to use, but since the reboot is like, you know, in the 2020s, it feels like it kind of like gave them like a long needed like rest, a kind of like ironically a reboot in creativity. So then they can make new stereotypes.
Yeah.
Because you know that series is appealing to a whole new generation. By the way, the Total Drama reboot will be airing June 1st at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go support it. Go support it. Go watch it. Have it on the background or whatever.
Yeah.
Just go support it so we can get more seasons with the reboot.
Yeah,
Anyways.
And also, just a quick caveat to that: we will be talking about the reboot, but we won't. But we'll be talking about it at a later date when it's all come out, and we can binge it like what we've been doing with the rest of the series.
Exactly. But getting into Pahkitew proper, episode 1. So, this is my team. We get an introduction to Pahkitew Island as an island that was inhabited by the Cree natives in Western Canada, and it's supposedly a bit more exotic. There's no shacks, no hotels, no hot tubs. The only thing that they salvaged from Wawanakwa was the outhouse.
Which I've got a question that, like, how was that even saved?
I don't know. I'm convinced like the outhouse is like an indestructible constant throughout the total drama universe,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
or it's like the total drama equivalent of the TARDIS.
Yeah, pretty much. And I know there's a lot of like people that have already done that. Like when they've parodied Doctor Who, they've done like, "Oh, it's a public toilet and it's the TARDIS." That's been done to death so many times. Like there's so many parodies of that. So yeah, and also as the flying over Pahkitew, Chris, like at first I was like, before it's actually revealed what's actually going on with him. At first, I did notice a difference in his voice, and I was just like, is that because he's just getting too much to do the voice, or is it something else? But it was something else. It was a hologram, so it makes sense why his voice sounded a little bit off. And yeah, Chef didn't even know. Yeah, we're gonna throw you guys out of the plane. And I was honestly saying, like, what would make this season a little bit better, in my opinion, is if Chef was a contestant. Like, Chris decided to just be like, "Yeah, Chef, I think it's about time you were a contestant in these," and he's just like, "Wait, why are you doing that to me?" That would have been an interesting twist to do on a season. Have Chef be a contestant.
That would be interesting. But so
Oh,
basic.
and by the way, I've got to say it now. Since we're on the topic of Chris, just gonna get it out of the way. So, people who know me know I do not like Chris at all, one bit. It's not sarcasm. I legitimately do not like him, and I've seen the video about him basically bashing the reunion fan-made film. So. So it's another way for me to not like Chris, because I don't like his actor now, because he's basically saying, yeah, people who make fan films, yeah, you can just quietly not do that and enjoy Dramarama, the baby show.
Kind of ironic, because like just like a little bit like a couple months after that whole fiasco, they announced the reboot.
It's like they did that knowing that people were annoyed that they basically said, yeah, you guys want a total drama reunion? Yeah, we're not doing that. We're putting all our resources into the baby show.
Yeah, but so the entire cast was thrown out of the plane, and only half of them got parachutes. That half being Jasmine, her stereotype is she's Australian. Perfect character writing.
Yeah, but she's also like a natural born leader. One of the only two good characters in this season, without a doubt.
I agree. We also have Rodney, who is a farm boy who falls in love with any woman who makes eye contact with him.
Which, such a missed opportunity with him, because he could have been like he could have been like a more giant lovable version of DJ, because anybody who knows me knows DJ deserves all the hugs in the world, and Rodney could have fit that role perfectly well, but no, they turned him into Brock. That's what he is. He's Brock from Pokemon.
Except at least with Brock, he has some shining moments.
Yeah,
AKA his Krogunk.
Yeah.
Anyways, we also have Scarlet, who is kind of like a bit like a mix of like Cameron and who's it?
Courtney.
Yes, Cameron and Courtney.
Yeah.
Then we have Max, the Dr. Evil.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, as much as it's like really that's the best you could do, I did enjoy what Max did in the season. Like I just find it so funny that it's like he wanted to be Dr. Evil at some point.
Yeah.
The only thing, oh my god, they had a missed opportunity. Now that I think about it, they could have okay, so it's kind of disturbing that Fang is out there somewhere in the world because of like the because of like Wakanaga sinking and Fang just swimming off after everyone. So they could have brought Fang back, attached a laser beam to his head, and just done the like, we finally have sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their heads.
uh, we also have Topher, the Chris fanboy,
Boo!
who I was weirdly obsessed with when I was first watching Pahkitew.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, like I said, I do not like Chris. Out of all the characters, I think he is the most hateable. I detest him. I detest him a lot. And to have a basic Chris clone, yeah, I knew I wasn't gonna like him.
But then
We also have Ella, who is basically a Disney princess. That is what she is.
Mm-hmm. We also have the good and evil twins, Amy and Sammy, or Sammy.
Yeah. She's not Sammy. She's Sammy.
Which those seven the seven I mentioned, minus Luke mentioning Ella, make up Team Pima Peteo Kino Sewak, or the floating salmon.
Yeah. Also as well, hi Alicia or Midnight Sparkles. I know you're on Discord, and yeah, we agree wholeheartedly. Jasmine and Sean carried this season.
Speaking of Sean, he is a zombie apocalypse prepper. He's always watching out for zombies to the point where he even tried defending against them with landmines.
Yeah, and obviously, based on that description of him, he's very much based on Shaun from Shaun of the Dead. And I just love it now. Now, imagine if Shaun was in the Chainsaw Man universe and had to fight the zombie devil.
Honestly, Shaun would kick his ass to the best of his abilities, and honestly, I think that would be very funny to watch.
It would be funny to see like what characters would go up against like Chainsaw Man devils. So I can imagine Owen would be Owen versus Fammy, the famine devil.
That would be interesting. But we also have Beardo, who is a knockoff bee, who is just a human beatbox machine.
Just call him what he is. He's Diet B. That is legitimately what he is. He is Diet B.
Yeah, like next we have Leonard, the LARPer, who gives LARPers a bad name.
Yeah, now to talk about that, like before we watched the season, because I am friends with a real real life LARPer. I had to ask them, like, look, does this character give LARPers a bad rap? And basically, what it boiled down to was they said that, well, let me go into the message of what they actually said, just to clarify. But it wasn't as like harsh as I initially anticipated, because I've done LARPing myself, and it's I've done it like a couple of times. It's pretty damn fun, but even I know, like, yeah, LARPers, they do have like, okay, we understand the difference between fiction and reality. Leonard does not understand that. So yeah, here is their quotation. Oh, I mean, it's strange, but I'm not going to judge someone for it. If it's how they cope with handling actual day-to-day life and they're not hurting anyone, then fair enough.
When he basically, and I mean, the only thing he did kind of endanger everybody's. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah,
I think it's also based on like an actual like video of an actual LARPer kind of dressed the same with all the green and the fake beard. But
yeah, more than likely, it's a Sierra situation again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also have Sugar, aka the Honey Boo Boo ripoff.
Sugar. sugar, 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 sugar. Like honestly, there could have been like there really should have been there really should have. This is why I consider this season the black sheep of the family, is because it has virtually, aside from Chris and Chef and the mention of the Wakanaga,
Wawanakwa.
Wawanaka sinking into the ocean at the beginning of the season, there's virtually no references to the earlier seasons. Not even cameos from previous contestants. And what they could have done with Sugar was make her related to Owen, because because she is basically a female Owen as well. And they could have made her related to Owen, but she's the antithesis to Owen, whereas Owen is like he's like the big guy who eats a lot but is really nice. She could have been like the antithesis. Like she eats a lot, but she's shorter and she's like diabolic. She's more diabolical than Owen ever was.
We also get the two. We already had, as Luke mentioned, we have Ella, the Disney princess, who is also a big fan of World Tour. So, me and her have that in common. Yay! But then we have the two characters that made this series nigh unwatchable for me. We have Sky, the Olympian and knockoff Zoe, and Dave, who's supposed to be the straight man to everybody's weirdness, but he's also a germaphobe and a hypochondriac, and he's the single most annoying character ever, and he's my least favorite character in this franchise.
So even more annoying than Stacy.
At least Stacy was gone after one episode.
So basically, he's to you what Sierra is to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is, and honestly, with Dave, again, a missed opportunity with him, in the sense that, okay, yeah, he can still have the germaphobe at the beginning, but over time, he gradually learns to be like, hey, this isn't so bad getting stuff on my hands. It's called exposure therapy.
It's called I want to bash him over the head with a 2x4.
Yeah, but again, what Dave fails to realize is that there are germs everywhere. That germs, you cannot get rid of germs no matter how much you try. They're everywhere.
But
But I'm curious. Well, now I can see. While looking back, I can see why you would say that. But why did Sky make it unwatchable, almost unwatchable for you? Because for me, it was a combination of Dave, Sugar, and Topher.
The finale.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
I just find her like really boring. Like,
yeah, fair enough.
Anyways, these 7 make up the Juanita Musquak, or the Confused Bears.
Yeah, so I'm just calling them the Bears and the Eagles, because
salmon?
I mean salmon. Oh yeah, because they had one name, but they changed it later. Which I did have that as one of my notes. Like, they called one of the teams the Soaring Eagles, and I literally put in brackets, "Yeah, Pahkitew, don't be stealing something from Wild Force." Because if if people have seen Wild Force, they know that Taylor's roll call is the Soaring Eagle in that season. So that's what I immediately went to. So yeah, I just call them the Salmon and the Bears, because like those names are a mouthful to remember.
So basically, their first challenge is to build shelter. Which honestly, I kind of like the whole idea where they have where they have to like fend for themselves in terms of like finding food and like building shelter. It really gives the series like a bit of an edge of like really leading into that Survivor inspiration.
Yeah, and honestly, this challenge, compared to all the challenges that were in All Stars, it's a far more memorable challenge than any of those challenges, I would argue.
And I would agree.
Yeah, and also they have to do this while avoiding tennis balls from Chef.
Yeah, we have we have Jasmine and Rodney kind of like having a bit of a power struggle, as we do see a bit of Rodney taking charge because he's mentioned that he is the oldest of he has 5 younger brothers, making him the oldest of 6. So he's
Which actually, now that you've said that, it does lead me to believe. It does lead me to have a theory about why Rodney is so obsessed with being in love with all the time. Is because okay, I've just now that you've said that, I've just it's just come to me. What if all his siblings, like, because he's mentioned to be on a farm, he's basically like Scott, essentially, but a lot more taller. So what if all his siblings left the farm and got married? Well, he had to stay and look after the farm, and that's why he's so like obsessed with being in love with someone, because it's spawned from jealousy of his siblings.
but he's the oldest, and he's supposed to be like a teenager, which
Oh yeah, good point. But then again, it can still be the case that his siblings are more successful with the ladies, whereas he like has maybe some insecurities about that, like being the oldest, and the fact that he's a teenager, whereas his younger brothers are able to be able to be with the opposite sex more than he can.
fair could be the case. Though it is said that I remember watching his audition tape like way back when, and it was like uh he uh I forget
I
about.
mean, is it said how old he actually is? I'm looking it up. Rodney Total Drama age.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's not said how old he is. So, oh, here we go. Here we go. I love. Oh my god, I loved it. I love this, Tyler. Loathsome characters wiki. He's on there. Why he won't get attention with any girls at all. So apparently his age is 16, which, yeah, okay, to be fair, okay, how many siblings does he say he has?
He has 5 younger brothers.
5 younger brothers. Okay, so let's say it's the next 3 oldest. So let's say 15, 14, and 13. Like they all have girlfriends, and whereas he's like the odd one out who doesn't have a girlfriend yet. Like, and that's why he's so obsessed with like, I need to be with someone.
Hmm.
I mean, that could explain it.
Possibly.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that later. Like, what other total drama characters are on that loathsome wiki? Oh, and in this episode, we have Sean producing Tyler's worst nightmare, the hot dogs.
Oh yeah, because when Sean was like dropped out of the plane, he's like, normally I'd love hot dogs. Right now, not really. And I mentioned that I do not like hot dogs.
Which baffles me. Like, how can you not like hot dogs?
They taste disgusting.
You gotta have them over here, Tyler. You've gotta have them over here. But yeah, so yeah. My other note for this was, I hate Topher. I hate you for being a male Serena and obsessed with Chris, because that's basically what he is. Topher is so obsessed with Chris to the point that he gets Serena Cody obsessions. Now, there is a reason why he's doing this, but I'm just waiting for the moment Topher produces a ring for Chris, even though he's a teenager. But then again, it's Chris. He's done more. He's done every disgusting thing under the book. It wouldn't surprise me if he would go that far.
Yeah, but we also see we also see Topher getting to experience Chris going to commercial, which I don't know why, but I find it kind of endearing that
Topher.
yeah, I find it kind of endearing that Topher's like fawning over Chris like that. He's like, "Bravo, encore, brilliant!" And
It's like Topher. I can imagine, like, when Scott made that joke in All Stars. I guess he wanted a meal, not. I guess he wanted a meal, not a snack. I can imagine just Topher laughing so hard that he literally broke his TV watching that.
yeah, probably. But we also get to see as Dave draws away Chef's fire, we see Beardo running in slow motion, and he then gets a tennis ball to the groin.
Which, ooh. Yeah. So in the end, it's the bears that Jasmine is on, isn't it?
No, Jasmine's on the salmon.
So in the end, the salmons build a tree house, which, hey, I've got to give them credit, is a pretty good looking tree house. And the bears build a wizard's tower that ends up collapsing because Leonard is an idiot.
Yeah.
Which I said this when we were discussing the characters before the other day before today. It would have been so funny if Leonard was still himself. He still was the LARPer, but he was also like a genius at everything, but he chose to believe it was magic. So like it would have been funny if he actually built that tower so well and everyone went, wow, how did you do that? And you just see him there with a tree branch, trying to use it as like one of those tools that you use to scrape down cement, and he just says it was magic, but it's clear that what he's actually doing is trying to build it properly. That would have made him so much more endearing. Like I said, it would have been like if Senku was still Senku, but he also had the personality of Leonard.
That would be interesting, but unfortunately, Team Musquash loses the Bears, and they send home Beardo for doing nothing except making sound effects.
Yeah, and again, Beardo. It was really, they really tried to capture the essence of B. Like you could tell, like I feel like people like you gravitated towards B in with Edge of the Island, but they seem to miss the point of what made B so endearing as a character, in that he doesn't talk, but he's also a master. He's also a master strategist and a genius when it comes to playing the game.
Yeah, like whereas Beardo is kind of like he just makes sound effects and is kind of annoying. And like it's stated that like in his audition tape that Beardo is shy, so that's why he tends to just do sound effects because he can't really express himself.
Yeah, but wasn't B described to be a shy person as well?
No, he just doesn't talk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's the other thing as well. Beardo can talk, because you see him at the end after he's fighting into the can, going like, "It was nice meeting all you guys."
Yeah, because he finally decided to talk.
Yeah, but overall, this episode, I would say, was a much better did a much better job than All Stars at just for introducing the season itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now, moving on to episode 2.
I Love You, Grease Pig. Where in this episode we have we see Team Musquash sleeping on some rocks while Sean sleeps up in a tree.
Yeah. And also Jasmine likes to sleep on a branch.
Yep. And Amy forces Sammy to go foraging with Jasmine. And like this is the problem I have. Like, uh, I can't stand Amy. Like, she's like bratty and like always targeting one person. It just gives a vibe of like a bad sibling rivalry.
Do you ever get the impression that their parents told them that they were originally supposed to be one child, but ended up with a twin sister, and so like the parents told Amy like, oh yeah, you were originally meant to be an only child, but then it was revealed like, oh no, you're gonna have a twin sister, and that's why Amy blames Sammy for everything because of like she wanted all the attention and she had to share it.
Honestly, that could be the case.
It's kind of crazy that now I'm coming up with these theories that actually would make sense.
We also have Jasmine and Sammy kind of bonding, and Jasmine being like telling her to like tap into her underdog capabilities.
Which I do like. I really do like that about Jasmine.
Yeah, it does make me wish that we could have seen more of it because Sammy does not last very long. But like but that's something we'll get into when we get there. But we also see the like the seeds of like Sean and Jasmine's relationship starting to be planted.
Mm-hmm.
And can I just say, like these two are like one of the best couples ever. Like one of my favorite couples.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I did write it down somewhere. Where did I write? Yeah, that Jasmine, because of this season, even though I think this season is a bit there, Jasmine and Sean instantly made it into my top 10 characters of Total Drama.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say like top 10, but definitely up there in some of my favorites. But so the challenge of this episode is a relay race where they have to go through multiple obstacles while passing a baton. In this case, 2 pigs.
But they're not just any pigs; they're grease pigs.
Yep, nice and greasy.
Yeah, and also as well, in this episode, Chris calls the cannon the boom boom cannon, and I'm just there like, hey, Chris, don't be stealing Basil Bush's catchphrase, which that's basically the catchphrase of the character Basil Bush here, where it's like every time he makes a joke, he goes ha 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 boom boom.
Ah.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, don't be stealing his catchphrase. He's got copyright on that catchphrase. Although I think it might be a reference to Ash from The Evil Dead calling the shotgun his boom boom stick.
Ah. But some highlights here is Sean sending the pig over a zip line while he falls off, and him having one of the best screams I've ever heard.
Yes. Another highlight is Ella basically using her power of Disney princess singing to enchant the pig. I don't know why, but I do like that about Ella as a character. Like, just her singing alone can make the animals be on her side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also have established here Sugar does not like Ella in the slightest. Why? I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's just a case like because from what I've heard, Sugar is meant to be the antagonist of this season, but at the same time, if you it's debatable about who's meant to be the antagonist here, because you have three candidates for this. You have slight spoiler, but you have Scarlet, you have Max, and you have Sugar, and it's like, who's it meant to be?
Yeah, which kind of like there is no like consistent structure like with like who is supposed to be the main villain, because like
Yeah, I
it
mean,
feels like it was supposed to be Scarlet, but now that she's gone, as well as Max, Sugar kind of has to play the villain.
yeah, honestly, it should have just been Max and Scarlet from the start. Like, because Max, he just screams like, I am the evil one here. But what would have made it so? Oh my god, this would have made it so hilarious. Like, he's trying to sabotage. It could have been like a Dick Dastardly Muttley relationship, Muttley style, where it's like he tries to sabotage all the challenges, but it always backfires on him.
Honestly, I'm
No. I know exactly what it should have been now that I think about it. Max should have been a evil Wallace from Wallace and Gromit. And Scarlet is Gromit. Like, she's the thinker. She's the one who has the brain, and Max just relies on a lot of luck.
I like that. Like, and they kind of have like we do see like an evil duo once we get to the second season of the reboot.
Oh, okay. But yeah, and that could have worked as well, because if anyone's watched like the Wallace and Gromit films, you can tell that Gromit a lot of times, even though he does care for Wallace, can get a bit annoyed by his antics.
Yeah. But in this episode, Leonard costs them the challenge by trying to levitate the pig over the wall, and Dave rightfully calling Leonard out for it. One of the few times I'll actually say something was justified of Dave.
I can't believe that has happened. So does this mean you like Dave now?
No.
But yeah, apparently, so the excuse of why Leonard couldn't cast the levitation spell is because Dave did not believe in magic.
Well, didn't believe in him.
Well, yeah, but let's be honest. The only thing that is Leonard is the magic.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we have Rodney attempting to break up with Jasmine because he's fallen for Amy.
Which, why?
Yeah. Again, it's going back to my theory that his siblings are more successful with the ladies, that he's just doing everything in his power just to be with one.
But is he seriously that desperate?
Yes, people are that desperate. Tyler. Do you? I don't know if I should bring this person up in here. You know what? I am. I'm going. I'm going to. Okay, so slight tangent here, and I apologize for bringing this person up because I think they are really disgusting as a person. But Rodney is essentially Chris Chan in this season.
No.
No.
Yeah, like I disagree, like big time.
Okay. Like, I was just using it as the fact that Chris Chan always was just desperate to get with a girl, like the same way with Rodney. But aside from that comparison, two totally different personalities.
But some other highlights in this episode include Max having a helmet which makes anybody who wears it evil. But he but he forgot to plug a part of it in, which Scarlet does, and turns their pig evil. Uh, and Dave freaking out after being coated in grease.
Which I've got. Okay, Dave, I've got to ask you a question. Have you ever been near a stove? Have you ever had to fry a burger? Like, I can imagine just Dave. I really want to meet. I really want there to be a scene with Dave's parents, with them just being like, Dave, can you do the dishes? And him just making up the excuse for like, no, they've got all your food on it that you haven't eaten.
Which is why they need to be cleaned.
Like, what is it? Yeah, Dave.
But
Oh,
anyways,
oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. A death battle that I want to see so badly now. Dave from Total Drama versus Dave Lister from Red Dwarf. So you have like the clean freaky germaphobe going up against like one of the most sloppiest people in the universe.
I'm going with Lister the entire way.
Yeah, because all Lister would just have to do would just be like, here's a sock, Dave, just throw it at him, and just be like, and Dave would just jump off a cliff at that point.
But anyways, on to episode 3. Twinning isn't everything. We see Amy and Sammy bonding some more, saying how she shouldn't let Amy boss her around like that, and we see we see Sammy try to call out Amy in the worst time imaginable.
In the morning.
With everybody around.
Yeah.
And calling her out like maybe when she's actually like doing something to you, like bring it up, but like it's all a matter of biding time.
Yeah, and you don't have to do it like right away.
Yeah. Because Sammy just blows up at Amy at the first chance she gets. Amy cries crocodile tears, and everybody except for Jasmine turns on Sammy. Meanwhile, over with Team Muskwalk in the previous episode, they found a cave to sleep in. Surprisingly, no bear.
Yeah, surprisingly. And also in this episode, we see Topher enacting his plan of just being like, I want to be just like Chris and take over hosting the series. I believe I said this in response to Max, but you see, Mal, this is an obvious villain. Like, Max is a much better villain than Mal, 100%.
I mean, between the two, I would take Max, but like how I feel with Pahkitew versus All Stars, not by much. Like, I'd still take like Heather or Alejandro or the villain of the reboot or even Scott over Max.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying, like, because Mal didn't try to hide the fact that he was evil, but it was just because he was executed so poorly. Whereas Max is just straight up like, no, I'm really trying to be evil here.
And like, I remember, I believe I showed you the Total Drama All Stars rewrite on DeviantArt, which is one of the few things to come out of that site. it's like they treat Mal as like a threat, but also cheesy because like Mal is like he's fucking cheesy as a villain. Like he talks about wanting a tower overlooking a volcano with the money. He has an evil laugh and like monologues and shit. The guy is fucking cheesy. And like
Well, sometimes people do like cheese.
yeah, and like and like and like the writers of that rewrite definitely lean into the fact that Mal's cheesy. And I think that's a decent direction to where he is a threat, but he's not like this like, wow, look at this character. He's so cool and amazing and way better than these other guys. Wow. Anyways, back on topic.
Yeah.
This challenge is basically a giant game of water balloons with anything but water.
Yeah, so one of them has bees in it.
Yeah, and like there's bees, itching powder, whatever the fuck was in Sammy's balloon. Which honestly has one of my favorite scenes with Dave, where he gets hit with an itching powder balloon, and he's like itching all over his body, and he's bringing up his leg like a dog.
Yeah, I did like that moment, and also you'll be pleased to know, Tyler, that Dave is on Lonesome Characters Wiki.
Nice.
Yeah.
But we also get like some stuff regarding Dave and Sky. It's like and him just being awkward with when it comes to talking to girls he likes, saying that he's glad that he didn't get hit with those bees because he's allergic to bee stings or some shit. And it's like the entire time I'm like, shut up, Dave.
Yeah,
Shut up.
literally every time Dave spoke, you were like, shut up, Dave.
I was. He is my least favorite Dave.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Which sorry, I lost my train of thought then.
okay. But we also have Ella drawing a smiley face on her balloon, and Jasmine hitting the two of them with a balloon full of mustard and relish and brown stuff that Sugar does not know, which is either chocolate, mud, or shit. One of the three.
It's given that this is total drama, it's probably shit.
Probably shit, yeah. But what Team Keno Sewak loses because when Sammy was about to drop a balloon on Sean, Amy's like, "Give me the balloon! You're gonna miss it!" And Jasmine's like, "Amy, shut the fuck up!" And tries to grab the balloon, which costs them the challenge.
It's like Jasmine is like the mother having to deal with these two brats going at each other.
Yeah, and we actually see another highlight of the challenge before I go into the elimination ceremony is we see Max and Scarlet popping other people's balloons, which honestly is fucking ingenious. Like they're using like a blow dart, like a blow dart kind of thing, and just like fire and like fiery projectiles at other people's balloons, basically turning their balloons against them.
Yeah,
Which I gotta say is really creative. Good job, Scarlet.
Yeah. Also as well, we've got to say that the rewards for the within the challenge are basically you get real food delivered, and probably the best pun that Chris has ever done. Which Chris, you get a point for this, but when we get to a certain episode, all the points that Chris has accumulated are going to be flushed down the toilet. But yeah, the pun here is that the reward is that they get burgers from Mary's Lamb Burger.
Mary had a little lamb.
Yeah, Mary had a little lamb and she killed it.
And it's delicious.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I believe the one before was I know there was one with Humpty Dumpty, like there were Humpty Dumpty eggs.
Like, it's like all the king's horses feed all the king's men.
Yeah, so basically the whole joke is that I believe that all puns on nursery rhymes.
Maybe, but we also have basically during the last episode, Sammy came across this apple called a mentionil fruit or manzanilla de la muerte, which caused her hand to blister and become itchy. So she finds another one of these mentionil fruit, and as she goes to eat it, Amy takes it away from her, saying that she doesn't deserve to eat. And when Amy eats the fruit, it causes her throat to close up. Which, at the elimination ceremony, Sammy decides to pull an N from Death Note and pull the old switcheroo.
Yep.
Saying that, so Sammy poses Amy, and Amy got the boot.
Mm-hmm. So now, Sammy will be known as Amy for the rest of her duration.
Yep. But time for the next episode. I love you not. Kind of a weird episode title. We see Sammy.
It doesn't even. Yeah, I've got to say, it doesn't make any sense in terms of what the challenge actually is, because really the what would have made a much better title would have been liar, 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 shocked and fired. Because the fired obviously being fired from the cannon, and the shock being like what happens to the contestants.
Yeah. We also see Sean and Dave going out looking for food for their team, and we see Dave being like, "Is it me or is Outback Survivalist Jasmine into Zombie Nut Sean who doesn't bathe? This place is weird." I will give him that 1 point. That is all.
Yeah, Dave, understatement of the whole franchise. Like, this franchise is, I would say, is up there, like, in terms of weirdest franchises with Power Rangers. Because Power Rangers is pretty weird when you really think about it.
Yeah. Or at least in the beginning, just really 90s. Like,
yeah.
But anyways,
and again, the reason why I so badly wanted Chef to have to be one of the contestants in this season is because honestly, this along with All Stars might be the most times that we've had. Because I'm looking on the wiki, like literally, aside from the first episode, Chef hasn't spoken at all.
Yeah, like they kind of treat Chef like an afterthought, like after Revenge.
Yeah, and that's why I like, because you saw like how involved like in the early seasons Chef was. Like he pretty much was the co-host, like to the point that he would take over several of the challenges. Like he could have easily like ran this challenge for Chris.
Yeah. This challenge in question being a ramped up truth or dare, now being truth or scare. Where they either have to A, a- answer a question truthfully while being judged by a lie detecting chicken named Clucky, or
Which I've got to love. That's a brilliant name.
or they or or they get a scare where they have to perform like perform a certain action, like uh Sky gets a scare where she has to drink an entire jug of mineral water, or Dave has to kiss a person next to him. Uh, and if you don't tell the truth on the truths, or you fail to perform the action on the scares, you get electrocuted.
Which is and Clucky is a law owns his own law firm. How
Yeah,
that is sad when we're in an economy so bad that a chicken can own its own law firm.
honestly, I trust them more than most lawyers.
Yeah, I think people would trust the chicken more than most lawyers. But it's kind of funny because this reminds me so much of when okay, slight tangent here, but I just find this so hilarious. When the last female prime minister, because she was so bad at what she was doing, the papers put up a live stream to see who would last longer, her or a vegetable, and most people were backing the vegetable, and the vegetable won in the end. So that is bad when a politician is beaten by a vegetable. It just reminds me of this scenario. Like literally, you are getting beaten by a chicken.
Yeah. But we see Amy Amy gets a truth and is asked like who she hates the most, and she has to answer. She answers Amy, so everyone construes that as she hates herself.
Yeah,
And
which
like everybody's just bashing fucking Sammy in this episode. Like,
yeah, it's like it's like it's like the creators wanted Amy, not that Amy, Sammy to be like how characters like Scott and Tyler are, but they were probably like, uh, well, it would be a bit cruel for it to be a female being bashed on like all the time.
so
So
they have her like being bullied.
yeah, which which I'm like, yeah, but it's like you don't like. Okay. To the writers of Total Drama, you don't need to have a punching bag every season. It's like they're doing challenges where they're all the punching bag anyway. So why do you need like just the single one, the one person singled out?
Because they could beat the shit out of them in particular, then dump them when they don't when they're no longer needed.
I guess.
But
Yeah,
we
but
see Rodney absolutely tank in this challenge because he
yeah,
keeps getting all the truths.
yeah, I was about to just bring up Rodney because one of the questions that Chris asks him is, "Who do you like the most?"
And he lies and says sugar, when honestly you could just say I don't know and
Or
probably make it out decently, because that's the
or
truth. You don't
or,
know.
or another way he could have said it is like, "I like everyone equally."
But that'd be a lie.
Well, no, it technically wouldn't be a lie because he's falling in love with everyone, so he loves them all equally.
He hasn't fallen in love with Max or Topher. He's only. Oh yeah, he fell in love with Scarlet this episode because she protected him from raccoon poop.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. But all right. Okay. So who do you love the most? I love all. He could have just answered honestly, being like, "Hey, I like. Hey, I like the guys. You guys are pretty cool, but I love all the ladies here." Because technically, he wouldn't be lying then.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But we see Sky drinking an entire jug of mineral water and her letting out a power belch. We have Dave needing to kiss somebody next to him, so he tries to kiss Sky, but she ends up belching so hard, like Dave can taste the belch in his eyes.
Yeah, and also as well because they took too long to actually do it. Because they were just like they're just being like, I'm just like, get on with it.
Yeah. We also have Max. Max. Max being asked about his greatest fears, and he just says he fears nothing. Which, like, I'm pretty sure most people are afraid of something. Like,
Yeah, I feel like Max's greatest fear would be that he is not evil enough. But yeah. So anyway, then
we
go
have
ahead.
we also have Sean snot rocketing his entire team when he was just supposed to pick and wipe.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a bit of a lightning round where we have Scarlet putting makeup on a bear. We have Jasmine feeding an iguana with her mouth and putting braces on a beaver. But then it just ends up being tied, and
the bonus sudden death round is that they've got to untie a knot essentially.
yep,
From
which has. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was about to say, each one of each knots is to a bag, where with the opposing team's shock remote, and with all they have to do is shock the other team, and they win. However, Rodney make the mistake of taunting the lie detector chicken by saying that he eats 6 eggs a day.
Which Rodney, God damn it, Rodney, and also Ella refuses to shock the other team, so Cookie is like, I've had enough of this.
Yeah, so Clucky shocks the shit out of Team Kinosewak and gets Hannibal lectured off.
Yeah, and okay, Chris this might be Chris's best moment in the whole franchise here, which, God damn it, I can't believe I'm saying this. He gets all the he gets so many points for suggesting that Clucky with the law firm is going on the menu.
Yeah, because he's offering, like, I think it's the all the king's horses eat all the king's men thing, and Chris is like, or if you want, chef's making chicken.
Yes, and since Clucky's the only chicken there, it's like heavily implied that that's what's going to happen. So yeah, Chris, honestly, these challenges, for the most part, have not been as sadistic as before. But that's all going to come down. That's all going to come crashing down.
Eventually.
Yeah, and in this episode, Rodney gets eliminated because of how badly he screwed it up for everyone, and tries to give a heartfelt speech, but Chris is like, "Yeah, no thanks, goodbye, mate."
And And then Rodney proceeds to sink and Rodney sinks somebody's battleship.
Well, hey, at least he won. At least he won battleships for someone.
Yep. Anyways, on to episode 5. I forget the name of this episode.
A blast from the past.
Oh, a blast from the past. So, Sean sees a weird figure walking up on the beach, who he thinks is a zombie. So he's like, I gotta get out of here as fast as possible.
Which also in this episode as well, and I am, because I saved these images and I've forgotten to make them into what I was going to make for today, but I'm going to do it now. This episode has probably Chris at his scariest. Not for the reasons you are thinking, but for other reasons. So I'm going to quickly just make that up. But when I first saw it, I was like, "Dude, what the hell, Chris? What the actual hell?"
Yeah. Are you pulling up the image or?
Yeah, I'm getting the images. I'm getting the images ready. Just bear with me. So you carry on.
Anyways, so the challenge in today's episode is basically a member of each team has to run across a platform to grab a dueling stick, and then bring it over to the other side of their platform. First team to get 6 of them to form 3 X's wins. But they also end up dueling each other with the dueling sticks. Because that's kind of what they're used for.
Which I've got to say quickly as well. Do you feel the power of the gladiators? Because it's basically the dueling sticks from Gladiators.
Yeah, and we see Topher and Dave totally like pussy out as they charge towards each other. We see Scarlet dodging a swing from Sky because she swings too hard and falls off. We see Scarlet sending an electric eel towards Max, who has a copper wire, which he wraps around one of his dueling sticks, and grabs it by the rubber pad to shock Ella. And we see freaking Sammy and Sugar going at each other's throats because Sammy is just pretending Sugar's Amy, and Sugar's pretending that Sammy is Ella. We also get the introduction of Scuba Bear. He's a bear in scuba diving equipment.
Which I've got to say, that is something. I mean, it's not as impressive as Fang, but it is something.
Yeah, and like, we also have the fact that Scuba Bear gets soothed by Ella's singing.
Which again, that's the only thing I love about Ella as a character.
Yeah. But with Sean being missing for so long, he's about to be like disqualified from the entire competition until he's found by Chef, because he's trying to like disguise himself as a zombie.
Yeah. Also, I've made them up and I'm getting it up right now. I mean, look at that. That is going to be like the creepiest face that Chris has ever done.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when I first saw that, I was like, and even Topher was like, Chris, what happened to you? So what it is that Chris has had Botox.
Yep.
Which again, I think, the the thing that does make it the most creepy is not the one where it's like when he first revealed it. It's just like that what the first image where you can see him not gleaming his teeth, where it's just his smile. It's just that is on the level of just a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare.
Yeah, and like he maintains this smile like no matter what he's feeling. Like he has that smile when he expresses frustration, boredom, fear because he taunted Scuba Bear.
Yeah, which makes it even more creepy as well because it's like I feel like the characters who are most creepy are the ones that say that are the ones that say stuff, but just have like either say it in like a psychotic way, but with their natural voice, or with faces like this, where they're not expressing any emotion whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna stop showing that because that is creeping me out still.
Yeah.
But that was really what stood out for me in this episode. Just like, keep Chris off screen, please.
But we see Sean come back into the game, and we see him hitting Jasmine in the face with a dueling stick. But and what Sean thought was a zombie is actually Amy, who is back for her revenge on her sister. As they fight and cost Team Kino Sawak the challenge. And at the elimination ceremony, Chris threatens Ella that if she sings again, she's automatically out.
Yeah. And also at the end of this episode, both Amy and Sammy are eliminated. But this is also the episode where we see Scarlett really getting angry at Max because all he sees of her is just sidekick.
Yeah. We also this is also where Sean and Jasmine have like a bit of a rough patch.
Yeah.
Because as Sean realizes there's more than prepping for the apocalypse.
Yeah. Which again, like, I feel like Jasmine, like, after this season, I could really see them like Jasmine just sitting Sean down and being like, look, mate, it's fine if you're scared of zombies, but the world is not gonna end in the next 5 minutes or so.
Which he sort of realizes, as he says that he should probably start thinking more with his heart than with his paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on to episode 6, we have Mo Monkey, Mo Problems.
No monkey, no problems. Which every time I see this title, I'm just like thinking that the Monkey card from Yu-Gi-Oh is going to make an appearance.
We see Dave setting up a picnic for him and Sky, and Sean's like, "Are you sure about this? Like, the girl's competitive, dude. She's not here to hook up. She's here for that million." And he asks Dave if he is as well, and he's like, "I don't care about the money." And he asked Sean if he would give up $1 million to be with the one he loves, which makes Sean want to go tell Jasmine how he feels.
Yeah.
And we also see Ella's crush on Dave because he pulled her out of the water and put her shoe back on, a la Cinderella. I'm just like, really? That's all it takes for you to develop a crush? Wow, you crush easy.
Well, hey, she's sticking to the Disney princess stereotype.
Fair enough.
So
Oh.
the challenge in this episode is that there's a vending machine with
Mm.
food, and but the only problem is that they have two monkeys for each team with a coin where they have to get it back from the monkey in order to release the food from the vending machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and also Sugar in this episode is manipulating Sky because of what's going to be happening soon with the merge coming, um, and Ella has actually named one of the birds that are following her around constantly the purple bird. So, what name did she give the purple bird? Trevor? No. Mike? No. Alan? Like, why Alan?
I don't get that either.
It's like, okay, um, if she had named it Barney, then that would have made sense because purple, Barney the dinosaur, and birds are descending from dinosaurs. That would have made sense.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure like fucking Terry McGurran like put a bunch of names in a hat and just like Alan. Fuck it. The bird's name is Alan.
I mean, yeah, but still, like, why? Like, I really want to ask him, like, why was the bird named Alan? Was that just that random?
Oh, it's funny you mentioned Trevor because that's the name. That's the name of that we gave one of the interns. It's Trevor, Lucy, and Anthony.
Yeah, and also as well, it's funny because one of the main hosts of like a sort of semi spin off of Total Drama is called Trevor. So I'm like, who was, from what I've heard, a former intern of Chris. So I'm like, oh my god, that is actually canon now. That is actually canon.
Trev. Oh, you're referring to this venture camp.
This
Trevor is
venture
not.
canon.
Trevor. I don't believe Trevor was an intern of Chris.
Uh,
That,
I'll look it up.
yeah.
Trevor this venture camp is one of the hosts. He and Derek returned to this venture camp as an intern. Let me was was Trevor in this venture camp an intern of Chris?
Okay, so bit of a tangent, but remember how I was talking about how the this Venture Camp season 1 is like a rewrite of the original Adventure Camp?
Yeah.
The host of Adventure Camp or Disventure Camp Beta, Jared, he was an intern of Chris.
Okay. Oh my god. It would have been so funny. It would have been so funny if instead of Trevor we called the intern Jared. It would have been that would have actually been so funny. But
Yeah.
anyway, could you carry on speaking while I just go to the toilet quickly?
Okay, sure thing. So in this episode, we see Ella's crush on David come to a head when she discovers the picnic that Dave set up, and he tells her to go away before Sky shows up, and we see her heartbroken, and I'm just like, Ella, you've known this fucker for only a couple days. Why are you crying? Quit crying, Ella. Uh, but we see Ella also talk to Sky how like Dave's heart is fully set on for her, and she's uh like happy but also like worried and at the same time and all that shit. Ugh, I fucking hate the relationship between Sky and Dave. But as Sean tries to tell Jasmine how he feels, Jasmine's like, I don't want you talking to me, motherfucker. And that's when we get introduced to the challenge, and we see Max set up like a rope trap. Uh and because his team does not take him seriously. And Scarlet's like, evil doesn't discriminate, Gotta show him who's boss. And Mac's like, you're right, Scarlet.
Oh, I am back.
Welcome back. Anyways, Team Kenosewak's monkey is disguised amongst a bunch of other monkeys who all throw their own waste at Max.
Which I've got to say, it really should have been Dave.
Yeah, but we'll get to that in the next episode. But they managed to trick the monkey into giving them the coin, but by playing a game of monkey see, monkey do. And then Team Kenosewak gets stuck in the trap that Max laid for them, and he gets caught in it too.
Which again, Max still being a better villain than Mal was.
Yeah.
And then we also have Ella basically singing and leading a bear to the vending machine, despite the fact that she's been warned that, hey, you do not have to sing.
The reason why she is luring the bear over is because the bear ate the monkey, which ate the coin.
Yeah. So there was an old bear who swallowed a monkey. It swallowed the monkey. It swallowed the monkey to catch the coin.
So then Sugar takes the bear, Heimlichs him into coughing up the monkey, and then Sugar reaches inside the monkey to grab the coin, and then go ahead.
Which everyone is just like, Jesus, because she's treating that monkey as if it's like just a glove puppet.
Yeah, which is like, Jesus H, Sugar.
Yeah, it's like, how do those monkeys' organs function if it can be just stretched out like Luffy? That's what it is. Kind of ironic because it's a monkey, but yeah, it's literally stretched out how Luffy would be stretched out in One Piece.
Then we have Sugar just flicking the coin into the vending machine, and Team Musquawk winning a meal of total drama, yum happy go time candy fishtails.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
Total drama, yum happy go time candy fish. Fuck.
Yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it. So at the elimination ceremony, it was Max that was going to get eliminated, but Chris is then informed that Ella went against the no singing policy, so she is out of the competition. But as the old saying goes, you finish on a song, and Ella finishes on a song.
And then gets shot out of a cannon.
Yeah. Well, hey, she went out with a bang as well.
But moving on to episode 7, where we get shot into the depths of the pits with This is the Pits.
This is the pits. So yeah, as the title suggests, and what Tyler said, we are going down into the caves, which is all right for some, not so much for others, because we found out here that Jasmine and Gwen have something in common. They are both claustrophobic.
And I love how Sean is commenting like, it's sad to see when one person lets a single irrational fear control their whole lives.
Yeah, which hey, what's that calling? Ring, 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 ring. Oh, hello, kettle. Hello, teapot calling. Yeah, hello, kettle. I'm calling you black.
Yeah, we see them get thrown in giant like hamster balls, basically, where they can't see and get thrown get thrown down a pit to where they have to navigate a cave, and uh we see Sugar eat what's called a glow slug and shines a light out of her belly button. We
which,
see Team.
which
Go
is
ahead.
crazy that Owen never did something like that.
Yeah, like this seems like prime Owen comedy.
But also as well, oh my god, also as well, Sean reveals that he would rather be eaten by a zombie than form an alliance with Sugar. That is how bad of a character Sugar is, that Sean would rather give in to his worst fear than be with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also as well, at the beginning of the episode, we when Chris is doing the recap about Ella getting shot out of the cannon, we see him saying, "I shot her in front of a deer," and I literally just said, "Don't say I shot her in front of Bambi, Chris." Which I could just imagine Chris's father just being the one that shot Bambi in the film. Now I have said it; it must be canon.
Oh yeah, it's canon now. Even
Yeah,
though, like, even though Bambi and Total Drama are owned by two completely different companies, fuck it, why not?
yeah. Well, Ella is a Disney princess, so yeah, I'm connecting it. Chris's father shot Bambi's mother. There we go. There we go. Mr. McLean is the villain of Bambi. But yeah, of course we have another shut up Dave here, but also Chris basically admitting he wants to kill everyone. Like
Chris is a sociopath.
Chris, there is no sympathy whatsoever for Chris. Like, honestly, what did Sierra's mother ever see in him? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, what did Sierra's mother ever see in Chris?
A hot guy in his 30s with a stubble?
But then again, he would be the kind of guy who would basically be like the textbook definition of a toxic fella in a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's annoying in this episode because my least favorite contestant has to be with my favorite contestant. So we have Topher with Jasmine.
Yeah, and we basically see Topher using a cell phone that he snagged off of Chris in a previous episode to kind of act as their guide out of the cave.
Yeah.
We also see Max and Scarlet separated from those two as they start to uncover some secrets. What's going on?
Yeah, because it turns out that there are actually TVs where TVs should not be
In a cave.
Yeah,
And also animatronic, also robot crocodiles.
Yep. But also, I believe in this episode it's the one where Chris's mother gets mentioned by Topher.
Really?
Yeah, because isn't it? Because didn't Chris's mother send him a text or on the phone?
Oh yeah,
with the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it just imagines like you could just imagine like the kind of childhood that Chris had. Like obviously he was probably a single child, and his parents got divorced. Maybe that's why he's so psychotic, because his dad left his mother, and he's like using this to compensate for the fact that he never had a father figure in his life, and he thinks like, oh, all men should be like this, just these like irredeemable monsters.
Seems like a bit of a stretch.
But it's the best explanation I can think of.
Okay.
So the other highlight for me in this episode is just like, okay, she may be with Topher, but Jasmine does the best thing to Topher that would ever happen to Topher, strangling him. She does the one thing that I can't do, because obviously he's animated.
Yeah. We also see Scarlet and Max discovering an elevator in the underground cave.
And we also have everyone else finding out, hey, we found this opening, but where does it lead to? The outhouse. So you can just imagine what they all did and why it's so rewarding for Tyler to see that happen to Dave. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so Team Musquat found a way out, and it was through the outhouse.
Yeah. So Dave went through what Chris went through in episode 11 of Revenge of the Island.
Yep. It was very fun.
It was so much fun.
We see Jasmine and Topher pop steam pass through an army of gophers as they dig their way up to freedom. And Scarlet and Max come out of the elevator, making the entire episode a bust. So, person eliminated, the reward dinner.
Yeah, because the reward dinner was basically because the reward dinner was basically a banquet that was just like, hey, you want all this delicious food? Well, you can't have it because nobody came out the way they were meant to.
Yeah. And so he also breaks up the wonderful couple of Max and Scarlet.
Yeah. Which must be a shock for Max because he's lost his sidekick.
Yep. As Max has moved over to the bears and Sky has moved over to the salmon.
Mm-hmm. And this will all lead us into probably Chris's worst ever moment in any series ever, with 3 zones and a baby, episode 8. Now, people could now with a tale like that, you could pretty much tell why this is probably Chris's worst moment. This is where Chris lost all those points that he's accumulated from me throughout the whole franchise and just basically shot them into the cannon. Because Chris using babies in this challenge, I don't, regardless of whether he stands on children or anything like that, I don't care. That has got to be like the absolute worst moment ever in the franchise from Chris.
Yeah, because in this challenge, they have to go through a series of obstacles where they must remain quiet. However, it's made extra hard because now they have to carry babies with them. Where did Chris get these babies? We don't know.
Yeah, there is no way in hell. There is no way in hell that because it's literally established later that the producers are like, or the lawyers like how did Chris even get the consent for this?
Very good question.
There is no way in hell that Chris went up legally to any mother in the world and said to them, hey, can we use your baby for a trying to reality show where it involves lions and rattlesnakes?
And bears. And
yeah. It's no wonder that the second the seriously, how was not the entire Total Drama Pahkitew in universe, how was it not cancelled after this episode? In universe, not talking about like the series itself. How was it not put on hold? Chris put on trial for this again. How was this not happened?
Oh.
But yeah, Sky thankfully calling him out for this, like by saying this can't be legal. It is not legal in the slightest, Sky.
Yeah.
And if that's not bad enough, Topher decides to be an arsehole as well and holding the baby like a bag. Essentially showing no concern for this child's life.
And then he balances the baby on his head when they get to the second zone with Pasta Bear, who is totally not Scuba Bear, who was also Bling Bear in the previous challenge.
Yeah. Totally completely different characters. It's like with Izzy and and
Kaleidoscope.
and Kaleidoscope and E-Scope. That was it. That was the name I was thinking of. Yeah, nothing like them. They were completely separate characters.
Yep, totally.
Yeah. So yeah. In this episode, the only thing that makes it kind of like a little bit hilarious is that Max is basically doing a syndrome from The Incredibles here, where he has one of the babies like, "Oh, you're gonna be my evil baby."
Yeah, and it's kind of cute seeing Max care for a baby while also trying to like raise it to be evil.
Yeah.
Like it's like fucking Megamind, who was like raised in like I don't know if you've watched Megamind, but like he was like raised in a prison where like people were teaching him like cops are bad, theft is good, and shit.
Yeah, which is yeah, I was just looking up to see did Max's actor play Syndrome, but no, he didn't. But it would have been hilarious if that was the case. But no. Oh, he played the character I played in The Tempest, so that's cool.
Sweet.
So yeah. Also, so yeah, like I said, in this episode, the lawyers get wind of what Chris is doing. It's like, you have got to cancel this challenge right now. Get all those babies out of there.
And he does so. So they just have
Reluctantly, because it's Chris, and even though at this point he should have been sent back to prison right away for this, which actually again would have given Chef something to do, because he probably would have been like, well, I guess I'm hosting for the rest of the season then.
Well, yeah. But
and also Sugar, basically confirming to be the worst sibling ever because she caused her brother's death and not remembering his name.
We also have Jasmine trying to make Sky more cutthroat towards the other team when she's worried about Dave. And when she like throws like a horn in the pasta bear zone towards Dave, attracting Chef to blast Dave with pasta and then attracting Pasta Bear. He's like, Sky, how could you? Why should I go on? What am I fighting for? If you get that reference, you get it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Why? There's no point to go on, Sean. Just leave me. Like,
shut up,
I don't like Dave.
Yeah, I can understand why you don't like Dave. But yeah. So yeah. Chris in this episode, even though Topher is a Chris fanboy, he doesn't recognize that when Chris is putting on a voice.
Yeah, because during the challenge, he gets a phone call from the producers about having him be in charge of the show and getting rid of Chris. So during the elimination ceremony, Topher thinks Chris is leaving and he's going to be in charge of the show, when really Chris was pretending to be the producers and knew Topher had his phone all along.
Yeah, which again, this would have been okay. I don't like Topher because he's a Chris clone, but honestly, Chris could have easily gone here because of what he did here. Like, there is no reason why Chris wouldn't have just been like, everyone being like, get rid of this arsehole for what he's done in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, because of this, and because at this point Chris is pretty much sick of Topher, he's like, yeah, Topher, you're getting eliminated here.
Also because he got the most amount of votes.
Which I don't blame them, and thankfully Topher's gone, so it's a lot less painful for me now.
Yep. But now it gets even more painful for me because we get one of my least favorite episodes of the season. Episode 9, hurl and go seek.
Yeah, honestly, people are saying like the gross out humor in Total Drama in like later seasons gets a little bit too much, and I'm just there thinking like, really, it's always been gross out humor.
But it's like
I
the
mean,
gross out humor has like cranked up to 1,000. Like,
yeah, I don't know if it was like as I I can't really decide if it was as bad in Ireland. Maybe it was more like a combination between just Owen burping and farting all the time. But also Owen is a gem. There's more to him than his burping and farting. But yeah,
exactly.
but yeah, I can see why it's your least favorite because basically, the if you go on the wiki and look at this episode's wiki page, the picture is just of Max barfing up.
Evil vomit. Blah. Yeah.
So yeah. Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Oh, I was just about to go into the challenge.
Yeah, I was as well. So you can go ahead.
Okay. So basically, Chris announces the merge at the final 7. So thank God it's actually halfway, not like in fucking All Stars. But the first like pre-challenge is eating something called Juggy Chunks, which looks fucking vile and apparently expired in 1976 before Chris was fucking born.
So how does Chris even have this?
I don't know, maybe he was keeping it in the fridge.
Again, his mother was keeping it in the fridge all that time.
Bro, maybe Chef was keeping it in the fridge.
But how old is Chef?
I don't know, probably like his 50s, because like he seems to be older than Chris. Like
I'm gonna actually look that up.
Because
how old is Chef Hatchet?
because he
So canonically speaking, how old are Chris and Chef supposed to be?
well, Chris was born in 1978.
Yeah, and Chef's age is never stated.
But it would like the timelines would line up because he said he was in a war. So if we assume that like he's older than Chris, he could have fought in Vietnam or some shit.
Could have done.
Wait, no, they're in Canada.
So it would have had to have been the Second World War then.
Yeah,
blimey, that would make Chef like, okay. No, it couldn't have been because he would be older because the Second World War was started in the 30s. So no, he can't be. I imagine when Chef said, because Chef can be just as much full of himself as Chris is at times. So I imagine when he says, "I fought in a war," it was probably a war. It was probably not a war in the sense of what we're thinking, but a war, forced on something stupid. It could have been like a family war.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
But
also as well. Do you know what Chef's first name actually is?
what is it?
Because I'm looking at one of the wiki pages. Norbert.
So one of Harold's middle names?
Yes. I'm gonna see if that's actually on his official wiki. No, it's not on his official wiki. It was just on like his heroes wiki. But it might be in his trivia. It might be mentioned at one point. Miscellaneous. Here we go. Here we go. During basics training, when the campers are, because this is about the war, Chef claims to have been in a war, although he mentions going through a jungle associated with the Vietnam War. Canada wasn't involved in the Vietnam War. Chef refused to answer which war it was, which could indicate either that he was lying or he was too traumatized to discuss the topic further. I imagine he was just lying. He was just lying about that.
Fair enough. But Sugar is the first to finish her portion of Juggy Chunks and wins immunity in tonight's vote, and will also be it in a game of hide and seek, where they have to last until sunrise.
Yeah, and also as well, Sugar just drinks everything.
Yeah, and this is also where Dave becomes insufferable because Dave manages to beat Sky in drinking the Juggy Chunks and rubs it in her face.
Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. Dave. Just need we say more about him?
So like Sky's like, you're not my boyfriend, never will be. You have no shot at dating me or beating me in this competition. And Chris just comes by and like pours like an entire thing of salt in that wound.
Yeah, and despite this, Dave just, despite Sky clearly saying, "I am not interested in you," Dave doesn't take the hint.
Yeah.
Which I've got to say, I would honestly like to do I mean, I know I said doing a tier list, but doing it for like characters we want to come back for another sort of all-star season. But I would want to do one on the couples in Total Drama, just so that we could put Sky and Dave right at the bottom.
Yeah, like seriously, I cannot stand those two. But like Dave infuriates me and Sky bores me. Like there's no fucking winning here.
No, but also as well, Scarlet starts to get a hint of like what is actually going on, because she sees that also the trees have computer parts in them as well.
Mm-hmm. And also everybody's starting to get food poisoning from the Juggy Chunks from being like nearly 40 years expired.
Yeah. Which would that actually kill someone if they ate 40-year-old expired food?
Probably.
Can expired food kill you? Yeah. Yeah. In severe cases, it can even lead to hospitalization or unfortunately death. So yeah, it could potentially kill you. So add attempted murder with food poisoning to Chris's list of crimes.
Yeah, and to the point where it even incapacitates Max. Like, which like, holy shit, like,
Mm-hmm. That really is all that needs to be said about it. But also as well, we start kind of like seeing the reconstruction of Jasmine and Sean's relationship, because we have Sean carrying a terrified Jasmine.
Yep, and like, Sean thinks that like all of like the people trying to get them are zombies.
Which I've got to say that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, and we also see, and we even see Sean protecting Jasmine instead of like him leaving her, in quotations. Uh, and because of Sean, Jasmine wins immunity in that night's vote. Uh, and it would have been Sky going home in that vote if Dave hadn't voted for himself and started a campaign to vote himself off. He even made buttons. And I got to admit, gotta admire the craftsmanship.
You want one of those buttons just to hang on your wall, don't you?
Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
You do. I know. I can tell that you definitely want one of those buttons. But yeah, so Dave goes in this episode. So you know what we need. You know what we need to do right now. Celebrate good times. Good.
Come on.
So we got both our least favorite characters back-to-back eliminations.
Yep.
Right, which leads us into episode 10. Scarlet Fever,
where Chris reveals that Pahkitew Island is completely artificial.
Which I've got to say was an interesting twist. I just wish it was executed more. I just wish it was foreshadowed more properly. Like if if they actually called him out like more on like why don't we have proper accommodations here? Chris said it's not needed for this island. Why? You'll see.
I mean, it is kind of foreshadowed when like certain landmarks disappear, like in episode 5 where Sean points out a waterfall being there.
Yeah,
and it's like, where's the waterfall?
fair enough. And I guess because Chris was a hologram on the plane, that should have been like the biggest clue of what's going on this island. But at the same time, he could have just said like, "You'll see why we don't need accommodation here. You got to figure it out for yourself." But yeah, so in this episode, I said that Chris was at his worst in the baby challenge, but again, he's probably at his most diabolical here because it turns out that at this point, Scarlet eventually snaps and becomes evil Scarlet, and tries to self-destruct the entire island.
Well, the island was already beginning its self-destruct sequence because Max vomited on that tree.
Yeah, but she basically is just like the one who pushes it forward, unless she and she's basically using this as blackmail for Chris. Like, if you don't give me the $1 million, everyone dies. And Chris is just like, yeah, I don't care. I've got a helicopter. So basically, leaving every one of the contestants to die on this island.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, and also as well, you know how we said that Sean was being a hypocrite for it because of the irrational fear with Jasmine? We have hypocritical Chris here because he's like, have respect for nature. What did you do in Revenge of the Island, Chris?
Yeah. And it also turns out that a lot of the that the animals are all robots, which also begs the question: how was Ella able to like swoon over the animals if they're robots?
I guess Chris programmed it in that they like Disney movies.
Yes.
But again, this helps explain. Actually, it was funny that I was saying how does the organs of that monkey. Actually, that begs a bigger question. Why didn't Sugar, when she put her hand in that monkey, not go? There's wiring in this monkey. What the hell?
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good question. Maybe because she was focused on finding the coin.
Yeah, I guess so. But also as well in this episode we have an army of Chris robots. Which, what was the purpose of them?
The purpose in universe is that they were supposed to act as their promo bots. So he'd like send a promo bot out to each mall to promote the season.
Which Oh my god! It would. Oh my god! It would have been. It would have been so crazy if it turns out that Chris hosting this season was always a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But by explaining that what's happening with Chris is a robot. He's taken out of his prison cell and turned into a robot. That's why he has no emotion anymore. But also as well, we have the Chris bots being beaten up, which is not as satisfying as it being the real Chris, because the real Chris isn't in pain.
But honestly, I'll take it. It's good to see Sean kicking ass.
Yeah, even though it should be with the real Chris. If Sean kicked Chris' head so hard it came off, I'd be like, oh my god, I would be playing that on repeat so much. But yeah, I feel like the second half of this episode just really takes over what the challenge actually was meant to be.
Yeah. So they managed to trick Scarlet. Of the remaining 5 contestants who haven't lost their sanity, trick Scarlet with one of the destroyed Chris bots. It managed to stop the self-destruction sequence. Although, what also happened is that Pahkitew Island has now become Punk Hazard.
Yes, I love that. I love that reference. Also, I do like the aesthetic of Pahkitew Island, like because I've not talked about that yet. Like how the exterior is like a giant fish.
It does look like a giant fish.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of fish. Pahkitew Island. Total drama. Like what fish does it look like? Yeah, here we go. Although it might be a whale, it could be more like a whale.
But Chris deems that there is no need to have an elimination ceremony, as he immediately eliminates Scarlet, and because he's had enough evil, because Chris is honestly enough evil, he also eliminates them.
Which I don't blame him. And honestly, these two really should have just been the main antagonists for this season. But also as well, we have Scarlet saying, "Don't send me away with Max. Don't send me away with Max."
But anyways, we now have our final 4 going into episode 11. I forget the name of this episode too.
I'll find out the name. Just bear with me. Scarlet Fever. At the Skyfall.
Oh yeah, at the Skyfall.
No. It's just Skyfall. But I was just reminding of the opening to the film Skyfall when it's the chorus is at the Skyfall.
Alrighty. Anyways, so it starts with Jasmine wanting to split the money with Sean, and Sean being like, "I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that with my plans for the money. I'd need the entire million, and if I cut corners on material, it might as well be a zombie bed and breakfast."
Like, how much money do you need? Because he wants it for a zombie-proof bunker. It's like, how much more money do you need for a zombie-proof bunker, Sean?
I mean, it depends on like what sort of materials he's going to use for the bunker.
I guess, but I don't know. Like, ugh. Sean, you're just being an idiot.
Yeah, because Jasmine wants to open a flower shop that's also a cage fighting school.
Which, okay, I have to agree with Sean there that it is a bit ridiculous when you think about it. It's like, has Jasmine expressed any interest at all about cage fighting?
Not really.
Yeah, so why that? Why that, Jasmine? With a flower shop, like, again, like, how do those two go together? I mean, I guess in her mind it kind of works because she's probably thinking along the lines like, what if chess boxing can be a thing? Why not cage fighting and flower shop?
I guess.
Yeah.
And then,
But also, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Yeah. So the challenge for this episode is basically a race up Mount McLean. So I guess after Duncan blew up his face in Revenge of the Island, he decided like we're going with a mountain next time. Try blowing that up, Duncan.
I mean, especially since after Duncan blew up his personal quarters and All Stars.
Which again, Duncan should get released because Chris has done far worse.
Fair enough. But we see Sky and Sugar forming an alliance so they can make it to the final two. But Sugar's basically just gonna idea is just basically playing dirty. But Sky doesn't want to do that, but Sugar's gonna do it anyways.
Yeah, cause she's Sugar and they really have nothing else to do with her.
Yeah.
Honestly, Sugar could have. Does she get? Honestly, Sugar should have been the one to be eliminated here.
That isn't the case because some highlights of this episode include Sugar letting off a stink bomb to scare away the bears, and we also was it a stink bomb that scared away the bears or was it?
I believe it was. Yeah, no, it wasn't a stink bomb. It was her fart.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. She used the fart power from South Park: The Fractured Butthole. Her farts are so powerful that it rips through space and time. And I've just realised how weird this franchise is that I can say that with 100% confidence. So, also in this episode, we have crocodiles chasing the team, which the teams which can fly as well. We have flying crocodiles now because why not?
Yeah. It got so bad that Sean literally froze in terror.
Yeah, and the only way that Jasmine was able to get Sean waking up is to give him a kiss, because that pretty much happens all the time. It's like give someone a kiss, and it's like they have the energy to do anything.
Yeah, might as well be Popeye's spinach.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny considering that Sean and Jasmine could potentially be seen as like the franchise's equivalent to Popeye and olive oil.
But we see Sean complete the challenge by procuring a flag at the top of Mount McLean, and he procures a spot in the final three. We see Sky also make it because she hitched a ride on the flying Robo Crocs, and Sugar basically sabotaged Jasmine by landing by pushing a tree on top of her, which allowed her to beat Jasmine to the top with ease.
Yep. So Jasmine gets eliminated here, which it should have honestly been Sugar being the one eliminated.
Yeah.
Considering it would have been interesting to see what Jasmine's talent would have been in the next episode when we get to it. So yeah, Jasmine gets eliminated, but Sean and her finally settle the differences, and they're like, you know what, we're gonna be together.
Yeah. So we blah, 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 yeah. I'm trying to put words together. Jasmine gets shot out of the cannon, and Sugar ends the episode with a fart.
There we go. Those are that just about sums up this episode. Sugar's farts. So now, we're moving on to the penultimate episode. Packed with talent, which really should have been titled Parked's Got Talent. Should have been a play on the Got Talent franchise.
Yeah, that would have made sense. But in this episode, we have each of the final three making their own mini challenge as they all go through each challenge. First place gets 3 points, second place gets 2, third place gets 1, and the highest ranking gets to go to the finale.
Yeah. Now, honestly, if this was done in Ireland, you could just imagine what Owen's challenge would have been. It would have involved them. It would have involved eating in some way.
Yeah. We see Sky's challenge being a hurdle race with a crisp spin on it with turtle hurdles as Sean gets hit in the groin with one of them.
Ouch.
With Sky winning her challenge, Sean coming in second, and Sugar coming in third because she didn't so much jump the hurdles as she did collect them.
Yeah. Although it probably would have been. Yeah, although it would have probably been funny if Sugar just was running into them rather than jumping them.
Yeah. Anyways, for Sean's challenge, it's a simple race that they have to perform without touching the ground. So they have to go from tree to tree to get from one side from one side to the other. We see Sugar come in first place because she continues to climb up a tree to see if there's a bus stop or something that can take her to the finish.
Which it doesn't.
No, but she does get flung all the way to the finish line. As we see Sean get in second place because he was temporarily stopped by a monkey with a chainsaw. And we see Sky get last place. So now we have a 3-way tie. Moving on to Sugar's leg of the Sugar's challenge, a talent contest. Being judged by Chris, Lucy the intern, and Scuba Bear 2.0.
Yeah, Lucy the intern, our favorite character in this season, that isn't a contestant.
Yep. We see Sky's talent being super belching. We see. Go ahead.
Hey, that would have won it for someone like Owen.
Yeah. We see Sean doing an armpit fart serenade,
which that has got to be the greatest use of armpits ever.
And we see Sugar performing a country rap hybrid.
No, Tyler. It's not country. It's not country rap hybrid. It's crap rap. That's what it is.
That too. And somehow beats out Jason Aldean. Waka waka. Sugar gets eliminated, blasted out of a cannon, going into the finale with lies, cries, and one big prize.
The big prize being that we're finally out of the crap phase of total drama.
Yep. So the finale starts with Sean and Sky getting randomly selected helpers. Sky gets Dave, and Sean gets Jasmine.
Yeah, so you want to know how you want to know everyone. You want to know how bad this finale turns out to be. You remember what is the tradition of the total drama finales?
Being hit or miss.
No. What is the one consistent thing that you see in all the finales? Even All Stars. Well, not even All Stars did this as well. What is the one? This is a problem with All Stars finale as well.
We see everybody come back.
Yes, whereas in these two finales, not everyone comes back. That's how bad they are.
I mean, to be fair, what could Beardo add to the finale?
He could add the rainy sound effects of just thunder, I guess. Or he just doesn't speak at all. He just keeps his mouth shut. But yeah, so yeah, this finale is again just one big race.
Yep, where they have to go down a snowy mountain, go through go through a giant pool of mud. Also, I should mention, Sky gets Dave moving by kissing him and lying to him that she's interested.
Which, what the hell, Sky? What the? You basically, okay, you may not like Dave all that much, but you have to admit that is a dick move of Sky.
Yeah. But speaking of which, after getting through the mud, Chris shows some confessionals of Sean, expressing how he's not too excited to work with Jasmine.
Yeah, but also as well, the thing that really gets Jasmine here is the fact that Sean doesn't believe in her idea. But again, like I said, Jasmine, I may love you, but your idea for what you want to do with the million is stupid. It is like you don't explain. Like I would want to sit down with Jasmine and be like, okay, how are you going to make this work? I mean, Sean could have worded it better, but at the same time, like, how is she going to make cage fighting at a flower shop work?
Maybe it's like a flower shop during the day and a cage fighting school at night.
But again, like, they're just the two most polarizing things. At least with chess boxing, there's kind of theme going, like it's brains versus brawn kind of thing. Like, what does a flower shop have to do with cage fighting?
We also see Sky's audition tape, which is the first time we ever see an audition tape in an episode. We see that Sky has a boyfriend back home.
Which this gets Dave irritates so much that he shaves off all his hair.
Oh no, his hair was burned off by the little cat robot.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But still, I bet you love to see that Dave without hair.
I'm a bit mixed on it.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, so Dave is just like, Sky, what the hell? And but this is the thing about Dave. He did not wait for the but.
Yeah. Because in going back to Blast from the Past, Dave tells Sky that he likes her, and then Sky's like, "I like you too," and Dave didn't want to hear the but.
Now, to be fair on Sky's part, she could have led with, "I have a boyfriend."
Yeah.
She could have said that at any point in the season, like, Dave, you are a friend. That's all you're going to be because I have a boyfriend.
Yeah, do what Bridget does. Insist that you have a boyfriend.
Or just do what Bev does. Like, I have a boyfriend. Like, here's the thing that I feel like, but even with that, I think what Dave would have done would be like, no, you don't have a boyfriend. Like, basically doing what everyone did with Beth, thinking that she doesn't have a boyfriend. But no, she really did have a boyfriend.
But
So because of these betrayals, Chris has Jasmine and Dave take over the final challenge and basically make it as difficult for Sean and Sky as humanly possible. Now, here's the thing. If it was in any other season, if this was in Total Drama World Tour, and you could just imagine like everyone just trying to make it as difficult for Heather as possible.
Or like Lashana making it, like the likes of like Lashana making it difficult for Alejandro.
Yeah, oh my god, that would have been so fun to see. Like, just Lashana being like, this is what for you trying to get between me and Harold, and then Harold being like, wait, you're interested in me? I didn't mean it like that, Harold. That would have been funny to see, like Harold just thinking like, are we gonna have a chance? No, I just said it in the spur of a moment.
That would have been very funny. But we see as Pahkitew only has 2 endings and not 3, so it never becomes the case that Jasmine and Dave split the money. We either see Sean or Sky win. In Sean's ending, he gets caught in an avalanche where he sticks his arm up with a flower in hand, and then Sean and Jasmine get their happy ending.
Yeah.
In Sky's ending, we see Sky stick out her hand and get taken away by Chef in a nurse outfit. Though I'm pretty sure Sean and Jasmine still get their happy ending.
Yeah, either way, Sean and Jasmine win, despite the fact that despite the fact that they're probably going to have like a few talks about how this cage fighting flower shop is going to work. But here's the thing. So on the YouTube channel, which is where we've been watching the episodes, normally they have the 2 endings so that we can see how they differentiate. But here, no, it's just Sean's ending. So I guess even the official YouTube considers Sean the winner of the season.
I guess.
Yeah, which, hey, the better character won in their eyes.
Yay! And we see Dave possibly getting mauled by Scuba Bear 3.0.
Which again, I just have to say, in reference to Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, by the way, what happened to Dave? Oh, we left him back on the island. Yeah. So, but yeah. So Dave is just left on that island with Scuba Bear. But one line that Dave says, which does get a point from me, it's all uphill from here. Not in any reference to this episode, just to what's coming up. From what I've heard from Tyler with the Darkest Race and the reboot.
Yep, it's only uphill from here.
Yeah,
as we get out of the total drama poopy doo-doo territory.
Yeah, and out of the reign of Chris for now, because with Redonkulous Race, there's going to be a new host. So finally, I can take a break from Chris.
Yep.
Which, to be fair, after what? How many episodes now? Like 30. It's like 39 plus 52. So that's actually let me calculate that. So there's 20. It's the 27 in from Island to World Tour.
Uh, yeah, it was 27 episodes of Island, 27 episodes of Action, 26 of World Tour,
Okay, so
13,
27
13.
plus 27 plus
That's
26.
54.
So that's
That
80
would
for World Tour, up until World Tour, plus 13, plus 13, plus 13. So after 119 episodes of Chris, it's about time we take a break from him.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was Pahkitew Island, and yeah, like Tyler said, better than All Stars, but not by a lot. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, the only redeeming factors of this season are Scott, not Scarlett, Sean, Jasmine, and to a slighter extent Max, because like I said, Max really should have been like just the comedic relief villain for this season.
I concur with that.
Yeah, but
Honestly, like it this entire season was just it felt like they were just kind of going as like writing as they went.
yeah, it really did. It really did show because I feel like after, uh, I feel like after Revenge, they really did not. I mean, I feel like they still wanted to do All Stars. I don't know whether this was like an executive decision or like just the writers running out of ideas to uh, fill with this. So maybe that was why All Stars was 13 episodes.
Hmm.
But yeah, I feel like they had the idea for All Stars, but and they only had it for like 13 episodes, but then they were told to like, we've got to do 13 more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which is why Pahkitew just feels like so out of place with anything that's come before. I don't know how cameos from other characters. I mean, I could see potentially Alejandro being like being like who actually, you know what would have been a big twist of this season is if it was the island. Chris thinks he has everything under control, but then he starts realizing that things are going haywire, and it turns out that it's all the major villains from the previous seasons all banding together to give Chris as hard a time as possible.
Hmm.
So, like in that control room, you have Heather, you have Courtney, you have Alejandro, you have Scott, and you have Scott. You don't have Mel because not Mel, Mal, because we don't include. But yeah, you just have those four villains. So like Heather, Courtney, Alejandro, and Scott. After everything that they went through in their seasons, they've just come together and be like, you know what? We're sick of Chris. We want to give them as hard a time as possible, so we're going to take over this island, and they're all in the control room.
I like that.
Yeah. And Chris doesn't even know that they're in the control room at first, but throughout the season, you get like little hints, like you might hear like Heather's laugh at places. You might see the robots becoming swallowed by someone off screen who just removes their shirts, which is obviously Alejandro. And you see, and you just see, and the biggest clue will be hearing Scott's voice being like, "This is for what you did with me and Fang, Chris."
I like that.
Yeah. Because then that would have made it less feel like an out of place season. Like that's the biggest takeaway I take from the season. Is like it just feels so out of place with anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, So yeah, that was the initial run of Total Drama. Overall, after seeing it, I'm glad that I sat through this, because I've despite all the hiccups and everything, I've enjoyed this journey, and I'm looking forward to the Redonkulous race, despite the fact that Vex has very negative feelings towards it.
Yeah, looking back on this series, I do definitely have going back, it definitely allows me to have this was really a nice trip down memory lane, because I have somewhat positive feelings towards every season of Total Drama, even All Stars and Pahkitew, because it Total Drama has been a big part of me for me growing up, and it was nice coming back to visit. It's like seeing an old friend after high school.
Yeah, and
Even if All Stars and Pahkitew were just
yeah, and it'll be interesting interesting to see that when we if we decide to do some franchises from where I'm from, like how it will feel from my end with that sentiment.
yeah.
Yeah, but until we get through the Redonkulous race, peace for now.
Peace for now.